Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to Evening Devotion. Tonight we're going to be reading out of Luke 22:46. Why sleep ye? Rise and pray, lest ye enter into temptation. Let's read this in context because that's the whole verse. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Verse 41. And he was withdrawn from them about a stone's throw, and he knelt down and prayed. Roughly 40 to 60 yards. Saying, Father, if it is your will, take this cup away from me. If it is, even Jesus said, if it is your will, take this cup away from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done. And that's a very interesting question he asked. Interesting prayer, take this cup away. And I wonder if, you could say maybe he was getting scared, or maybe he was fearful. Or maybe he realized just, what was going to be involved in this. And it was getting to him. We don't know for sure. Obviously, the stress was killing him because there's several accounts. And since Luke was a physician, Luke knew very well what was happening to him because this condition had actually been discovered before Luke was even born. So the condition of sweating blood. And a lot of people will say, no, it doesn't say he sweat blood. He said he sweat like great drops of blood. Problem is, that is an actual condition. God, got that mosquito. I'm being buzzed by a mosquito. That is an actual health condition from extreme stress. So when you read that, and then you do a little bit of digging, you realize that he probably really was sweating blood. It's possible to do. It happens today. It's rare, but it happens. But this condition was known long before this. There's a lot of stress in here. He's about to bear the weight of all of the sins of all of mankind and the full force of the Father's wrath. I couldn't possibly blame him for being nervous, for being apprehensive, for struggling. Now, our Lord is perfect, but he was also a human being. He was in a flesh body that felt pain. We can't look negatively on this as if he was weak. He was about to endure something no person had ever endured or would ever endure. So when he says this, if it be your will, take this cup away from me. Nevertheless, not my will, but yours be done. We have to stop and remember that he was human. Verse 43, then an angel appeared to him from heaven, strengthening him. So the Lord sent him strength. And being in agony, he prayed more earnestly. Then his sweat became like great drops of blood falling down to the ground. Now it says his sweat became like great drops of blood. Well, if you're sweating blood, your sweat and your blood are mixed together. You don't just sweat pure blood, it's sweat too. It's an actual condition. Verse 45, when he rose up from prayer, he had come to his disciples. He found them sleeping from sorrow. Then he said to them, why do you sleep? Rise and pray, lest you enter into temptation. Prayer leads us away from temptation. Prayer protects us from it. Prayer delivers us from it. The Lord was tempted to not bear this cup anymore. And he prayed. And the angel strengthened him to continue on. It records he was in agony. He was in agony. This puts a much more specific context to what's been done for us for our salvation. This man bore all of it on the cross. We're about to read in John the crucifixion. Just what was done to him. He did this for us. Betrayal and arrest of Jesus, 47. And while he was still speaking, behold, a multitude, and he who was called Judas, one of the 12, went before them and drew near to Jesus to kiss him. But Jesus said to him, Judas, are you betraying the Son of Man with a kiss? When those around him saw what was going to happen, they said to him, Lord, shall we strike with a sword? And one of them struck the servant of the high priest and cut off his ear. That was Peter. But Jesus answered and said, "Permit even this." And he touched his ear and healed him. Then Jesus said to the chief priests, captains of the temple, and the elders who had come to him, "Have you come out as against a robber, with swords and clubs? When I was with you daily in the temple, you did not try to seize me, but this is your hour and the power of darkness." He knew. Christ knew very much. When is the Christian most liable to sleep? Is it not when his temporal circumstances are prosperous? Have you not found it so? When you had daily troubles to take to the throne of grace, were you not more wakeful than you are now? Easy roads make sleepy travelers. Another dangerous time is when all goes pleasantly in spiritual matters. Christian went not to sleep when lions were in the way, or when he was wading through the river, or when fighting with Apollyon. But when he had climbed halfway up the hill difficulty, he came to a delightful arbor. He sat down and forthwith fell asleep, to his great sorrow and loss. The enchanted ground is a place of balmy breezes, laden with fragrant odors and soft influences, all tending to lull pilgrims to sleep. Remember Bunyan's description? Then they came to an arbor, warm and promising, much refreshing to the weary pilgrims, for it was finely wrought above head, beautified with greens, and furnished with benches and settles. It had also in it a soft couch, where the weary might lean. The arbor was called the slothful's friend, and was made on purpose to allure, if it might be, some of the pilgrims to take up their rest there when weary. Depend upon it, it is in easy places that men shut their eyes and wander into dreamy land of forgetfulness. Old Erskine wisely remarked, "I like a roaring devil better than a sleeping devil." There is no temptation half so dangerous as not being tempted. There is no temptation half so dangerous as not being tempted. The distressed soul does not sleep. It is after we went into peaceful confidence and full assurance that we are in danger of slumbering. The disciples fell asleep after they had seen Jesus transfigured on the mountaintop. Take heed, joyous Christian. Good frames are near neighbors to temptations. Be as happy as you will, only be watchful. When the whole thing happened with Will Smith and Chris Rock, Denzel caught him backstage. Denzel Washington. And Denzel makes no bones about his Christianity. But he told Will, when you reach the highest you can get, that's when the devil comes for you. And this is true. When things are the most comfortable, when things are the most peaceful, when things are the most perfect, that's when the devil decides, now I'm going to call Murphy and have him come in here and enact his law on all this and can bring the whole thing down. So while things are good, we need to be wary. See, when things are bad, when you're at war, you're wary, you're on alert. While things are good, we need to be like that too. There's a time of rest coming. But right now, we need to be aware, because even we can get caught off guard. Even we can get pulled into things. Even we can wander into it and not even realize what we've done. Quicksand is easy to see, unless you're not looking for it. A snake is easy to see. You don't want to step on it and get bit unless you're not looking for it. A lot of times we become very complacent. But in the Army, they taught us complacency kills. When you're complacent, that's when they're going to try something. That's when the enemy is going to make a move, because they see their moment. It is the same with the Christian. The enemy is waiting. He's waiting for you to let your guard down. And he's at that very moment, he's going to step in and go, now, I got you. And there's almost nothing you can do except to be diligent. Live the armor in Ephesians 6. Don't just pray it, live it. That is the only way you'll be able to guard your hearts. That's the only way you'll be able to stay away from these things and avoid these things. Because this stuff is coming for all of us. He is going to do everything he can to get at any one of us and each and every one of us if he can. And there are times where we are going to fail. But that is when we need to be the more diligent. And it's tiring. It's exhausting. That's why we have an eternity of rest. And now more than ever, at this age, in this generation, he is more focused on attacking everybody he can, which is why it is so important for us to be in the Word, reading it, applying it, doing it, and staying on our guard, watching what we do, slowing down and taking the time. Because the first thing a person's going to do who's attempting to deceive you is try to speed you through it. Well, we got to make a decision right now. Well, no, we can't do that. So that's the thing I hate with car makers or car salesmen. Nope, we need a decision today. We can't. You can't think about it. No, then I guess I'm not buying because I'm the one spending the money, not you. So I'm going to take all the time I need. And if that's a problem, then go ahead and sell the vehicle. I don't need it. I'll go with another dealership. Thank you. Or they try to dictate how you're going to do the deal. No, I'm the one putting up the money, not you. This is going to go my way, not your way. And if you can't see fit to do that, then we have no business. I used to have the people that would call all the time trying to loans and all this stuff and do all these things. Okay, we're going to do it. It's going to be a 18% interest. And I'm like, whoa, hold on there. 18? I don't think so. I want 4 or less. Well, we can't do that. Well, then we're not doing business. See, I'm the one taking the risk, not you. I'm the one incurring the debt, not you. While it may sound like a great deal to you, that's not a great deal to me. No, thank you. If you can't do it down to 4% or less, not interested. We've got a little tractor for sale, and the guy just contacted us and asked if we take $5,000 for it. It's $8,000. That particular tractor is going between $8,000 and $10,000 online with no implements. We have 2 implements with it. And we're like, no, we'll do 6. He wanted us to come down $3,000. That's how people are. No, I'm not in a hurry to sell, and I'm not desperate. This is what Satan does. Satan looks for those opportunities to try to manipulate us or to move us into a place where it'll become self-destructive. This is why we have to be careful. This is why we have to watch out. That's why we have to make sure we don't deliberately put ourselves in harm's way by making a bad decision. Sometimes you have to lose some sleep. Sometimes you have to sacrifice. Sometimes you have to give something up in order to make sure things go well. And sometimes the decisions are hard. Like Jesus said, why are you sleeping? Get up and pray so you don't enter into temptation. There are times, quite often, when we need to be praying so that we don't enter into temptation. Lord, lead us not into temptation, but lead us into salvation. In this day and age, it's very hard to fight this. It's very much a struggle. And he knows what we're going through. We just read it in Luke. He knows. He bore the brunt of it. We've got it good compared to him. But let us take the warnings to heart. And let us move with a godly fear. And not let these things take place, if at all possible. And in every instance, talk to the Lord. Pray to him. Tell him. Let him know we're paying attention. Because we already know he is. Sometimes he's just looking for somebody who's willing. Not able, but willing. And he can do a great many miracles with someone like that. I love you all very much. I bless you all in Jesus' name. See you guys in the next video.